Facebook, put hashtag replay in the comments if you're watching some replay so I know that you were here. We're going to dive into a fun leadership topic today. Give it a second or so. I'll be good. What's going on, everybody? Today, had a question for you, but in your network marketing business, have you ever had a time when you thought you found the leader, but you weren't entirely sure? Well, today I'm going to talk to you about the number one trait that leaders must have. And if they don't, it's honestly a network marketing red flag. So if that sounds something interesting for you, be sure to like this, share this, and you might want to go onto my YouTube and subscribe for the Ultimate Upline podcast for material like this and more. My name is James Zhang. For the last 16 years, I've been in professional network marketing space. We have helped multiple seven-figure MLM sales teams scale and transition and so many things. We are one of the top leaders in our current company that we've been with for 14 years. So we've seen our fair share of leadership ups and downs and made some successes, but actually made a lot more failures. And today I want to teach you one of those things. And I'll share with you a story. I remember one of the first leaders that we had the opportunity to work with. And when I say leader, these people are producers, these people are taking action, these people have influence. These are the ones that you've been waiting for and praying for to happen in your compensation plan, right? And it's going to happen if you continue to sow the seed, if you continue to work hard on yourself than you do on your job, you track who you are, and eventually you do something long enough and you get some sustained results, you start to attract leaders or you start to empower more leaders. So remember, one of the first times I had a leader, this person was highly influential. This person, whenever he talked to somebody, they would get started with a $2,000 plus pack. They would be doing tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of sales with or without influence. And I'm like, wow, this is incredible. And it was great until it wasn't. And the end of that story, unfortunately, was it was kind of a dramatic end. There was a fallout of relationships in the team. We're still chill, but not partnered together in business anymore. And I look back to that and I look back to other things and things to the compliment on the shirt. I see my friend Dory, newest manager, by the way. But I realized that there's one trait through many leaders that I've seen, I've worked with, I've seen across the aisle that they do not have. And if this one trait they don't have, be very wary. And I wonder if you might guess what that one trait might be. What does a leader need to have? Is it charisma? Is it a network? Is it a following? Is it skills? Is it fire? Like all these things are important, but I'm going to submit to you the number one trait that if a leader does not have, it's going to be a red flag there, is humility and coachability. If you're not coachable, there is an endpoint to the career. And why is coachability important? Well, if you look at anyone in the world that's producing at a high level, whether it's in sports or in business or anything in life, they have coaches. Why do Olympians hire coaches? Because they know that they can only see what they can see. So if you want to be top of your game in your business, if others want to be as well too, we all need a coach. So coachability is a important asset because you're going to constantly be in a growth mode. But what else is important about coachability is what it really is underneath is humility. And in the Bible, it talks about how pride comes before the fall. In fact, it says it twice in the book of Proverbs. So it must be important. So if there's lack of coachability, it actually means that there is a pride issue, an ego issue that's going on. You'll notice when there's a lack of coachability, when you try to give constructive criticism. Here's some notes on where you can take and where you can see. And and trust me, like you can try to change people, but it's hard. So if you notice any of these things happening, take down a note, love them still, partner with them, love them, but just be wary because if the coachability does not change, it's going to be tough to have a long-lasting relationship. So here's when you can tell someone's uncoachable. You give a constructive piece of feedback, and all there is defense or excuses. It starts to feel like you're walking on eggshells all the time, where you feel like you're trying to guard and be careful about how you say things because you don't want to offend this person. Like, you know that they can be overly sensitive, and you're like, well, they're a leader, so they're producing a lot, and maybe they just got a lot of stuff going on, and I just got to be careful with my words, which we should be. But you're overly careful. Have you ever been around something like that before? You just feel like any single thing that you say that is not aligned with what they might think or believe will set something off. Other signs that someone's uncoachable is you give a suggestion. Now, there's things that we need to do as leaders to communicate better so it's digestible. Like, I'm the type of person that I believe you don't just force your feedback upon someone, but you might give suggestions. So I like using that word. Hey, can I suggest something for you I think can help you out with your business? Like, that's a good line to use in leadership. And if you give a suggestion, if you notice that it's kind of lip service and they're like, hey, thanks, but no actions taken, then that's another thing that you might take a look at. Right? Any single time there's any single type of coaching moment, it's like this person dodges it or they have an excuse on why things are a certain way. And it gets to the point that you feel like you just cannot speak truth into them, even in tons of love. And I just want to encourage you and remind you and kind of warn you that if that type of a temperament is there, that is a lack of coachability. That is typically a pride ego thing. Now, pride could be either one of two extremes. It could be either that they're super over they're overestimating their potential and their skills, and they have a puffed up attitude, and they think that no one can speak into their life. Or on the flip side, this is also pride and ego, which is they're so insecure that they don't allow anyone to speak into them. Now, I'm also a deeply insecure person naturally. I've had my many uncoachable moments, and I believe all of us, we fall short and we will have our uncoachable moments. Case in point, I'll just throw myself under the bus. I remember this was me rising up. I was at a lunch with one of my good mentors and my top money earner, who now is my wife, Becky. But back then, she was just my top money earner. We're at lunch and we're just having a casual conversation. And my mentor is trying to have a coaching moment with me. And I had my ego puffed up. I retaliated, I defended, and I was just throwing excuses, excuses, excuses. And my mentor, being the loving mentor he was, leaned in more and he wanted to speak more truth into my life. And guess what happened? My ego was already high, so it went higher. And I started to basically make up stuff that didn't even make logical sense. Have you been in an argument before that you're not being logical? You're just defending your ego, but you're already in the argument. You cannot back off because you can't be wrong. Like, that's where I was at. And it got to the point that he called me out and he was just like, James, you're being totally uncoachable. He said, you have cat like reflexes. Cat like reflexes is anything that is pointed to you. It's like you have a retaliatory thing about it. You have cat like reflexes right now. I'm like, no, I don't. And then we had a third party there. So my Becky, my top money earner, we weren't dating yet, but at that time, she was like, yeah, James, your mentor has a point. You're being really, really uncoachable right now. And at that moment, I had a decision. Should I swallow my pride and get coached, or should I just maintain my ego, my pride, and keep on going? And thanks to the love on the shirt. So we will have uncoachable moments, but do you stay uncoachable? And I believe that when you're partnering with other people, if you want to build something long lasting and substantial, if we want to build $1 million+ sales team, the truth is this: you're going to run into trouble. You're going to run into arguments. You're going to run into disagreements. You're going to have emotional times. Like, that's just life. Think about any relationship. If you're in a romantic relationship, there's a stat. I don't know if it's true or not, but it sounds true. Did you know that a healthy romantic relationship, 25% of the time they should be fighting? Like 25%. That means you're not going to see eye to eye on things. And if you're not coachable in those moments, then you're not willing to budge. Well, you're going to stay stuck in your ways. So, in leadership, the number one trait I believe someone needs to have in order to go far, whether you're partnering with them and you want to really lock arms with them as a leader, or you're looking for yourself on how to better my leadership, is what is your coachability like? Are you humble with receiving things? So, here's some things and personal philosophies on how to stay coachable. I would say if there's one strength that I have is um, I'm decently coachable. I'm decently coachable. Here's a couple notes on coachability. Number one, I realize that I probably don't know the right answer. I go in with the assumption that I don't know everything. Because the truth is this, the more that you know, the more that you realize that you don't know. I mean, how much? There's 8 billion people in the world. What makes me think I know everything? And even if we know a detail about something, we don't know all of them. And we also don't know other people's perspectives. So the likelihood that I know something entirely true is probably not at good odds. So I'm not going to play that game. So I'm going to go into any type of situation with a humble attitude of learning. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm not. I'm okay with being corrected. The only thing that I know to be true for me is the Bible, right? That's why I stake my life on that. That's why I build everything on that foundation. But aside from that, everything else in business, in life, there's many nuances. Who knows what's right? Who knows what's wrong? All the way. So starting with a healthy humility is important, and just assuming that you don't know all the details. Assumptions are deadly in business. Number two, I also realized that if I'm going to get coaching and I have a good coach, who's a good coach? Someone that has the results that you want, someone you know has the best of your best of interest in mind. So I'm going to receive coaching. Then what I know is this is I trust that they have the best of intention to help me. And especially in network marketing, what's great about network marketing is it's like incentivizing the coaching. It makes no sense for your upline to throw you coaching that's going to hurt your business. Because if it hurts your business, it hurts their business. So I love network marketing because unlike a corporate job, corporate, there could be some politics, or your manager might not want you to outpromote him or her, so they won't give you all the secrets. Here, if there's someone that I'm working with, for example, I want them to ask all the questions. People say, I'm bothering you, James. No, you're not. You're bothering me if you're not bothering me, because I want to share with you all the things that I know that do work, because when you succeed, I succeed. I love that. Don't you love that about network marketing? So I assume good intent. The moment that you assume ill intent from someone, you cannot receive coaching from them. If in the back of our mind, and this could stem from so many things, this could stem, maybe we've had bad mentors in the past, trauma, right? Usually I've seen that those that are uncoachable, it's because they've had really tough situations, which valid points, but we got to work through those, right? They've had hurt relationships. They've had a mentor, a friend, a loved one speak ill into them that done them wrong. Well, we understand that these things happen. Those are valid. We want to work through those. But in this scenario, we're going to assume that we're in a good relationship where you have the best of intentions from someone that you're getting coaching from. And you don't know until you actually lean in, right? So how do you stay coachable? I go in thinking, I know I don't know everything. Number two, assuming I have a good coach, then I'm going to take everything with good intent and I'm going to filter things. Um, the goal of a coach is not to make you feel rainbows and butterflies and amazing. The goal of a coach is to tell you what you need to know right now so that you can make the best move. Case in point, think about your favorite sport, whether it's basketball, baseball, football, soccer, whatever it is. And imagine it's in a heated moment and you need to score. And the coach comes in, calls a timeout or a huddle. And the coach goes in there. Is the coach like, how are you feeling right now? Are you okay? Like, are they like dancing around your emotions? Or isn't your coach in your face telling you exactly what you need to hear? almost yelling sometimes and saying, we got to go get this done. Coaches are there not to make you feel amazing. Coaches are there to help you get results and to tell you what you need to hear. So I understand this, that when I'm in a coaching relationship, my goal is not to be right. My goal is to get the right information so I can make the right actions moving forward. So I filter out emotions. So if you're somebody, how do you attract more coachable leaders into your team? Get better with being coachable yourself. Do you have cat-like reflexes that come up like I did before? Now I just submit those and I put those down and I'm just like, all right, let me receive this and let's go extract the truth. So I filter things. I filter out emotion. I filtered out tonality, especially in today's online business days. You know what happens a lot of times because we do things a lot over message and text. We read in between the lines too much and we put in emotions and stories into a line of text that was not intended to be there. Who here's done that before? They share an emoji and you're like, what does that emoji mean? And you have this whole story that can spin out of nowhere and it all of a sudden totally takes off that conversation from the wrong place. Just don't extract the emotion from it, extract any type of innuendo from it, and just take it for what it is. And what I'm seeking for the facts, what I'm seeking for the helpful moments, what I'm seeking for the things that I can take action on right now. I remember my wife, who at that time was still not my wife, but Becky was looking at some of my conversations that I had with some of my mentors, and some of them were really harsh. The way that some of my mentors would talk to me at some times, it was very real. And she would look at this and feel offended for me. And she's like, aren't you offended? I'm like, no. Like, why? Because I know they have the right intent and I'm just extracting the goodness from there. Does that make sense? So, coachability. And last part is this: the best way of being coachable is just to take action on the coaching. If you want more coaching, or if you want to see if someone's coachable, do people take action after there's a coaching that is agreed upon? That makes sense. Right now, if you don't, if there's no agreement on what was coached on, then don't expect an action. But if there was agreement, coach and mentee came together, they discussed an idea, and boom, it was agreed upon. How fast does the person that gets coached take action? That is one of the big telltale signs of coachability. Because there will be some people that you partner with that sound like they're receptive to constructive criticism, and yet they do not take action immediately. So you want to get keen at watching the feet and not just the mouth, because actions speak a lot louder than words. And when you look at the actions, there's a saying that if it quacks like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's probably a duck. So you take a look at these, and it's important because as you're building your empire, you're going to be spending and investing your time with these leaders. And the most dangerous and expensive thing that can happen in your business and your life is wasting time. And I've spent so much time, I wouldn't say it's wasted. I think whenever you invest into people, there's always a positive that comes out of it. God always works everything together for its good. I believe we're here to serve people in a season for a reason, yes, but to save your heart some and to save your time some and to put up more boundaries and to be careful. When you start partnering with people that you feel like have leadership qualities and you're like, maybe they're the one, look for, do they have coachability or not? You can tell from little assignments you give them, little coaching you give them, little feedback you give them. You can tell, are they receptive? Are they defensive? You can tell if they take action, don't take action. Maybe they don't do it once, maybe they don't do it twice. But if you see it like a couple times in a row and you're like, you know what? This is the type of person that currently they're just not in a coachable moment. And if they're not coachable, you know what happens? I don't ditch them. I never ditch anybody. Right? I'm the type of person that I believe in leadership. We serve everybody that God's called into your life. But I do believe it's important to have boundaries and standards of who you work with closely and mentor closely. So, what you might do is where this leader might have been higher on the rung, leadership is not just performance, by the way, it's not just producers. That's a big lie. right? You can have producers that produce one day and they're gone the next. They're great to have, and we all want that. But I'm looking for leaders that can run the race with us, or if you want to build something that's legacy business. So if I see that they're missing coachability, I start moving them down the priority list, meaning I don't respond to them as quickly, meaning I don't have one on ones with them too much, meaning I put them into group time rather than personal time, meaning with they ask a question, I don't go in detail with my answer, meaning I'm withholding everything that I can share because I know that they will not be receptive. They haven't proven that. And sometimes they change. I've changed. You can change. Anyone can change. But for you, with a finite amount of time, 24 hours in a day, with millions of lives that you want to impact, it's so important that you choose wisely who you invest into. Okay. Let me leave one last note on this. I hope this is helpful. Hey, Danielle. Hey, Sam. Great to see you guys. If this is helpful at all, put helpful in the comments below. I hope I can save you a decade through just the many mistakes that we made in network marketing leadership. Um, Last thing is this. Here's a danger in leadership as you're starting to expand your team. Here's a tendency that I know I still battle with myself. I battle laziness, meaning I want a shortcut, meaning I want any opportunity I can do to speed up to my goals as possible. So what tends to happen is the first time that we see somebody come into the game that's producing, that's actually taking some action, they're bringing some volume now, we're like, that's the leader. And they might be influential and they might do some great things. And we're like, we start to elevate them, platform them, and we start to really say they are the one. What I've realized is leadership, we have to be very careful in putting that responsibility and that mantle and that label on somebody, because leadership takes some time to prove out. You have to assess a little bit. And what happens is if we are not aware to this, is I've made this mistake. I put too much time, too much attention, too much pressure on this up and coming person. And they feel that actually. They feel subconsciously, you need me. They feel like I'm your only one. They feel like they can take advantage of you, whether they say that or not. And when you lose that leverage or you overemphasize certain people, what it also does is it takes you out of the game of what leaders should do, which is frontline recruiting and sponsoring all the time. I believe leaders should always be sponsoring new people. Question: when was the last time you sponsored a new person? Right? Like, if you look at that number and you're like, man, I haven't sponsored someone in a long time, you're in a red area, you're in a red flag area. Emergency. We should always be sponsoring because you always want to be leading from the front until you're like retired. But what happens is we get distracted because we see somebody come on and we're like, wow, they're amazing. They're going to be the one. Maybe, maybe not. But if you take your eyes off of the main road and you divert all of your focus and your time just to this one person or this one group, you tend to put yourself in a very precarious situation. So no matter what, get a leadership circle. If you want to hedge your bets, so to speak, on who are the leaders, don't guess, they will rise to the top. My coaching is always recruit multiple people, have multiple people you're working with, so that no matter what happens in life, you're always going to have people to work with. Put yourself in a place where you have an abundant mindset in your business. And if you don't want to do that, honestly, it's just how I naturally feel, which is it's my laziness. I'd rather not do the hard work. I'd rather not go prospecting. I'd rather not work on my marketing. I'd rather just be in management mode with this one person, but management kills your business and it kills your leadership. And especially if you notice that your leader has some coachability issues, there's some big issues there as well too. All right. So I hope this is helpful. If this is, I plan to have more leadership discussions, network marketing leadership dynamics. I think it's fascinating. It's what I deal with every single day. So I hope that wherever you are in your business, that this can shortcut some time for you so that you at least have some paradigms in your mind so that whether you're there right now or you've been there or you're going to get there, you know how to speed up through those types of processes. All right. So here's your challenge today. Where am I at? Some reflection questions. Number one, how coachable am I? How coachable am I? Can I honestly say that if I receive coaching, that I am the most coachable person on the planet? If not, let's work on that first, right? Go up to some of your mentors. You might even ask them, honest opinion. If you struggle with asking this to your mentors or your coaches, you probably struggle with a coachability issue. But you can ask them, I'm doing an inventory and I want to know, how coachable am I? Rate me on a 1 to 10. I want some honest feedback. It's a good place to start. I'm always asking feedback from people, right? Whether it's upline, downline, crossline, coaches, mentors, doesn't matter. I want to know, right? So check your own coachability. Number two, if you're working with other people in your team, rate their coachability, honestly, objectively. Rate them, rate your top players, your top performers on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, where are they with coachability? 10 being the highest, one being the lowest, and just kind of be mindful of that. And then the final piece is probably the biggest challenge for all of us. Who would you say in your business, honestly, has leader quality? They're taking action, they're producing, they're coachable, they're hungry, like they have qualities to them. How many of them are you partnering with closely right now? If it's less than five, go find more. All right. I'd think maximum you can usually have 20 that you're really working with closely, but at least have five. And if you have five, and most comp plans, like at least the one we're building, if you have five strong leaders and you're building $1 million sales teams with each of these, just think five strong leaders, at least in our comp plan. Let me see. That is $500,000 a year, right? So you don't need a lot of leaders to do amazing things. You just need the right ones. It first starts with ourselves to become that leader, but then as you start attracting, being able to vet them out, coach them, mentor them, partner with them well, and equip them. So use those as criteria as you move forward. All right. So hope it's helpful. If it's interesting, be sure to like this, maybe share this. You can go to my YouTube. I'm putting this into the Ultimate Upline podcast. My goal is to come on with weekly content. Hold me to that. And I hope that this plus other things are interesting as well. If you have other things you want me to discuss in network marketing, let me know. And I'll consider putting that into content. On that, have a great evening. God